Okay, we're live again, twice in 1 week. People probably like, what's going on with Kayla? She's got some free time. I really don't. Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another Facebook Live. Tonight I have a different guest with me tonight. It's a little easier talking to everyone on multiple different platforms when you have a friendly face like Seth in front of me, so that we're able to go back and forth, talk about real estate, talk about the NDP housing town hall that they recently had yesterday. I'm sure lots of you were able to follow that thread in our group there. And then we're going to talk about the event. There's an event coming. I know, guys, we're all excited. We're like itching for something coming from this pandemic. So this is going to be really exciting to talk about it for the first time with our members. But I want you guys to know about Seth Ferguson. So Seth, tell us about you, because I get too excited talking about people. I know that it's better when you get to talk about yourself, right? How easy that is.
For sure. Well, besides the long walks on the beach that I enjoy, I'm a 13-year real estate veteran. I host a real estate TV show called Real Estate Simplified, and you have been a great guest on the show. So thanks for coming on and sharing what you do with Ontario Landlord Watch. I also host a podcast called Real Wealth Through Real Estate. So we interview every week new real estate investors that are excelling in the field of real estate investment. And I'm also the author of the real estate book, Sell for More. So we got lots of big stuff going on. And then there's also a YouTube channel where we post weekly videos about multifamily real estate.
Okay, Seth, now you got to be able to get these links ready. I'll give you a few minutes there. Start getting these links ready and put them into the chat so everyone has a way to get it. Because once you asked me to be on your TV show, I was like, what's this? Oh, I'm like, there it is. I can find it. And then you start sharing it everywhere. So make sure you have that into the link for the people there. Now, are you a family man? You got some kids?
Yeah, I've got a 4-year-old son named Callan. We were just at swimming lessons. So he is a bundle of energy.
So you're a real person. You're a real person. You're a landlord with a family. Like, you're not one of those rich, greedy ones that the government thinks we are.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. Like most landlords are just trying to, have some assets for retirement, or leave some wealth for their kids when they die. Landlords are just regular people who have seen that all the benefits that come along with owning real estate.
Now that's the thing, and now we have different political powers, either from federal, provincial, municipal. We have everyone is getting their hands in the cookie jar these days, either from water billing, landlord licensing, restrictions, eviction bans. Everything is what we need to be following, just as investors, just as learning about investing and how to get ourselves, financial freedom is what our goal is, because we know how hard it is going to be surviving off of government pensions. So we look for different ways to help ourselves. So we'll see how that part goes. But I know for me, I started at 18, and I'm now 30, almost 36 years old, and we now have like our 18 properties, or the 18 doors, as you would call them. And we're loving it. It's just, but to now the way that the government is intervening, how the prices of houses are going crazy. It's like, I want to be able to still look at what other ways of investing into real estate, as well as different investments such as the stocks, or even for the fine gold and silver that people are talking about these days. So we'll have other type of podcast to talk about that. But Seth, we talked a little bit before we jumped on about the NDP town hall. So I want to talk to you guys about it. And please, if you watched it, get some clapping of your hands or laughing faces. Do laughing faces in the chat here. So right off the bat, we found out that there was a town hall about housing, and everyone knows me. I'm all about the housing, all about trying to create a better housing system that benefits good landlords, good tenants, and taxpayers. So when you get to see the opposite party of the NDP, who is coming on talking about a town hall of their issues and their solutions, you want to pay attention. So we got onto this Zoom, and a lot of our landlords got on there too. And we were going back and forth, being very, very respectful, just kind of calling them out for what they were saying and saying, no, Ford didn't just sit on his hands. He actually, got an eviction ban going on. And he also made sure that there was funds available for CERB, and you had EI, you had portable housing benefits, and you also had rent banks. So when we would call upon to say, there is money available to these tenants, and this is why they're getting evicted. So it's not a mass evictions like these town halls, in the town hall that they would state. So for anyone who want to take a look, if you go into Ottawa West Nepean NDP Facebook page, you'll find their video. And you'll also find it on my personal page, Kayla Andrade, or inside of Ontario Landlords Watch. They had Catherine McKinney, who is an Ottawa City Councillor, Sue Morrison, our lovely Sue Morrison, who is from Toronto Centre, the MPP for Toronto Centre. So she was a part of Bill 184. That was painful to watch. Now last night was even more painful to watch. Then we had Alison Throwbridge, who was a founding member of Acorn. So she was on there. And then here our landlords are inside of the group trying to give these people solutions and inviting them to meet with the Ontario Landlords Watch Committee in order for us to work out these type of changes that we would like to see come at a provincial level. We talked about how Alison, the founding member of Acorn, she talked about a phone blitz. So some of our landlords were harassed by her founding organization of Acorn, because the tenant was in the arrears and the landlord was trying to kick them out. So they were a part of that phone blitz. They went to Mayor Watson's house, and these NDP representatives are completely condoning it. They had their petitions, they had door-to-door campaigns. But the thing is, they talked about how they have programs, they need to get more programs, but all these programs always involve private landlords to be working with them. And if you talk to any type of landlord who's taken these programs or tried to join them, they're like, don't do it. It's the worst experience that they've ever had. There's no protection, there's no support. And this is why when they talk about these programs as solutions, we're like, no, it's completely done. Now, and they also don't think, Seth, get this one, they don't think that private investors are going to contribute into fixing this housing crisis.
No. Well, the NDP thinks that big government solves all issues. So
we're not going to solve it. 60% of the housing stock is from small mom and pop landlords. But you know what? No, small landlords, we're not going to fix it. Wait until they find out. And I don't know about you, but I feel like some of our landlords are, especially the condos and the single family homes, they're pulling out. And every single application that's came to me for our 2 properties that we had for rent for our property management business, the tenants are saying the landlord's selling. Every single application. Now, normally that could be a situation where they're lying and that's what they're using. But if you look at their address and if you see it on MLS, you might be able to see that, it is for sale. So why would they want to do that part of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, they also bashed the National Housing Strategy. Obviously, I didn't think the National Housing Strategy was going to do anything for it anyways. It's more about really loosening up the RTA, the LTB, creating that friendly environment for where you can convince private homeowners to open up their secondary suites, where they can call upon our buddy Andy Tran to open up a secondary suite in their basement. That's where it's all about, utilizing what we have, because the government cannot continue to keep building, managing, maintaining, and subsidizing. They need to get out of it. They're not even good landlords themselves, in my opinion. They had no money to even, do the maintenance on these properties that are government owned properties. So they have a lot of work to do from even their own, in their own backyard. And they're really trying to enforce restrictions and policies on landlords. But the NDP are definitely, everyone knows, they want full on control over the vacancy. They're really upset that our 2.5%, they don't want that. They want to be able to, they want to have more, and they want to really control how much each unit is. And that's the sad part, where I don't think they understand would you say it would kill the rental industry in itself if landlords couldn't increase?
It would devastate everything. And I'm totally against rent control as it is. And we could go on for hours about rent control, but I think in every sector there are examples demonstrating how the private sector is more efficient and better at solving issues than government is. Whether you look at the recent corona vaccines, the private sector has solved problems faster. They're able to pivot better. They're able to recognize opportunities and do things efficiently. The same thing applies when it comes to housing. You have private capital coming into the market. It will seek the highest and best use for that capital because it wants to earn a return. And the highest and best use is the best thing for the market because the market will reward that capital for doing a good job. Whenever you have big government coming in and setting rules, it basically takes the wind out of the sails and everything stagnates. And you look now in Ontario and other rent control areas. California is a good recent example. It basically handcuffs property owners who no longer want to put money into the properties and upkeep and upgrade because they can't get the return back that they should get. If you're risking money in the market, you should be able to receive a reasonable return in exchange for taking that risk. If government comes in and eliminates the possibility of earning a decent return, there's no incentive for the investor to risk their money in the market. They'll put their money somewhere else. So the whole system is backwards. And we were talking about the political component. That's what it boils down to. It's good in an election. Everything sounds good, but people don't have an understanding with how the machinations of real estate actually work and how they operate in the supply and demand aspect, and how you need that influx of new capital to upgrade, to improve. And then, I'm going off on a rant.
No, you're on fire.
But
this is what it's all about.
Yeah, but rent control is very dangerous. California, obviously, if we're talking about left-leaning government, that's a good example. And I'm very sure over the next 10 years and probably even sooner, we're going to start seeing the detrimental effects of that policy being put in place. When we look at Ontario real estate as a real estate owner, one of the issues now is cash flow is so tight because the rental yield is so low because prices have gone up so fast. When cash flow is so tight, a landlord needs to be able to keep up with the market rent. So if they've had a tenant in there for 6 years, a 2% increase a year, it doesn't benefit the landlord, and in turn, it doesn't benefit the tenant because there's no incentive for the landlord to continue pumping in money if they're stuck. Maybe they're cash flowing $100 a month. What's the incentive to dump an extra $20,000 and renovate the property at that point? There is none.
The worst is that they put a rent freeze on 2021, and then here the cities are increasing the taxes and utilities on property owners at the same time. Like it doesn't matter. Like we're going to cut into your profits, not knowing that there's many out there not even making profits on their properties.
That's right. Government tends to use real estate as a piggy bank. So when they need money, it's like, I'll dip into the real estate piggy bank. But I don't think the long-term thinking is there. The issue with government is we run in the election cycles. So whatever government's in power at the time, they're looking forward to the next election, and so there's no long-term 10, 15, 20-year plan in place. Look at the NDP, for example. So the next election cycle, obviously they're going to be pushing pro-tenant because that's how they lean. That's sure, it'll get them some votes, but that's not going to solve the long-term issue, that especially in the GTA, where the word housing crisis gets tossed around, and I would agree with that. There is a housing crisis. Affordability is a huge issue, and that trickles down into the tenant, the available supply of rental housing. What's the incentive to build new rental housing? Right now with developers, they're making more money building condos.
I think into the concept that if we don't help out with the housing crisis, is that us as taxpayers are going to be paying a lot more, because it's costing taxpayers a lot more to put people in motels and into the shelters. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm 98.9% sure that she said $3,000 a month to keep people in motels right now. So we're looking at $3,000 rent, even in my area of Waterloo region. At least it's you tonight, buddy, and not me. That's awesome.
We got
if anyone was watching,
say hello.
knocking at the door, and it's awesome to see that this is real. This is what I love. Look at you. No, not you. Move over. We need to see him.
He's grouchy. Okay, Callan, Daddy's talking with Kayla. Okay, okay, I'll come when I'm done talking with Kayla. He's grouchy right now.
You can go and talk to him, and then I'll keep everybody busy here.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Yeah, this is good. This is Facebook Live COVID style. So I'll catch you up on how through this town hall with NDP, and just like what Seth is saying, this is what we're talking about, trying to encourage them that, this whole rent control is not going to be good for our industry. It's not going to be good for tenants, not going to be for landlords, and definitely not good for taxpayers. And we had a whole bunch of comments inside of that Zoom meeting. And we also, once we got kicked out, which is like about 12 of us got kicked out, we went over into Facebook and started putting comments underneath that video on the Ottawa Nepean West, or Ottawa West Nepean NDP, and now they're all gone. So it's like, if you have a politician who has been voted in by the people, you don't know if they were landlords or you don't know if they're tenants, but you're sitting there silencing them on social media. It was like disheartening. Like, we're looking at, like, didn't you take an oath to represent the people? But instead they're only picking which group of people they want. What, I guess because they're going to be louder, because they're going to vote for them. And this is why it's, our housing market in itself is a mess, because our politicians are playing dirty politics with our housing department. Isn't it awesome? I love it. It was great. I love it. It's because the next video was like my kid crying, and I'm like calling my husband. I'm like, he's not going to pick up. And he's like, oh, I had the Ethan watching him. I'm like, you got the 11-year-old to watch the 1-year-old? I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I just set him up with a bowl of Fruit Loops, so he's good to go.
Oh, yeah. I go, here's a chocolate bar. Just get out of my face. Right in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah.
Oh.
So now we got ourselves into Sue Morrison. She's coming on. She talked about her rent control. We talk about rent subsidies, Seth. So even though they mentioned that we had FROPO, they represent the biggest of big landlords, and they've been advocating for a rent subsidy. But I feel that rent subsidy was going towards 25% of the landlord had to cut, similar to what they did for commercial. And again, when you work on real estate, every number counts, every dollar counts. So you need to make sure that, you need the full on rent. Now, if you already had CERB to pay for rent, you had EI and portable housing benefit and even rent banks, why would they still be encouraging an eviction ban when all the government officials have to do is guide them to where they can find the money and get the bailout that's needed?
Well, the answer is it makes good headlines. That's the answer. That there should be no reason. And I think this is another example of very closed-minded thinking when it comes to potential government policy. What other place can you take on? Can you sign a contract and then fail to deliver on the contract in terms of paying for it? It seems like, again, when it comes to real estate and housing, it seems like the NDP and more left-leaning governments always feel like, oh, well, the real estate owner, they can absorb any of the additional costs, which isn't the case. Real estate investment owners are just like any other business. We have revenue and we have expenses. You can't just expect a business to absorb 100% of their debt cost that is supposed to be covered by the tenant and the rent that's being charged. I think that's very unreasonable.
Yeah, when she was even for Sue Morrison, she was talking about how everything is now online with the LTB, the Landlord and Tenant Board. And they've even said that they were actually going to be going online even before COVID. COVID just allowed them to kind of expedite it a little bit better, get online. They're going to be going into Zoom versus team meetings, which is great. And when Sue had mentioned that it was because it was going so fast for these eviction hearings online, she said that tenants were getting denied access to justice. So she kept on saying that everyone deserves to have access to justice, but then says that there needs to be a full-on eviction ban, and this eviction ban should be implemented for a full year after the pandemic is deemed to be over by the health officials. Like, this is how far these, now can you imagine if everyone keeps going down and down and down, and they're not able to, you know, protect themselves through this pandemic or be able to survive based on, you know, whatever spending money they have, they could be building their army to win this next election. And that's what I'm a little worried about, because everyone wants a little bit of something for free. But we do have the concept that she said it was access to justice. And you're telling me that denying a landlord an eviction, that is because tenants are refusing to pay, they've had money to pay, they have options to pay, and they still go ahead and deny landlords this access to justice at the same. And we say justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah, well, 100%. And at the end of the day, who's holding the short end of the stick? It's the landlord again. It's the real estate owner. And, you know, you were mentioning before, you know, a lot more tenants are saying, oh, well, my landlord is selling. Well, if somebody's renting month to month and they're not paying, put the property up for sale, right? You know, sell the property, and then the new buyer comes in, and then the tenant gets the boot. That's one way to solve that issue. And, you know, let's say, for instance, evictions are frozen for a year. You know, will we see more product hitting the market on the sale market as a way of getting out of that situation potentially? Because I don't know what small mom and pop type of landlord can absorb an entire year of debt cost on their own when the tenant's refusing to pay. That is very unrealistic.
You know what? It's happening now. These landlords are waiting a full year to even get a hearing, not including if the tenant tries to apply for a stay on that eviction. And the worst is that even for landlords who want to get out and they give that N12 notice and they're giving that 1 month's rent before that 60-day mark is done, and the tenants are still staying in those units, and there's nothing that can be done until you go to the landlord and tenant board. And that's a part of our solution, is that N12s, where you have an affidavit stating that the owner or the new owner wants to move into this, that needs to be pushed aside. No hearing allowed, but they know a lot of people are taking advantage of a hot market. They're realizing these eviction bans, this wave of eviction bans, because they already had 2, is the 3rd one coming. They can't hold on, and that's why they're getting rid of these single family homes, because right now, if they don't pay it, then the landlord has to pay it. So they're getting out, and they're getting out quick. So are those properties, and I'm talking like semis in Kitchener-Waterloo, is 500,000 was what it listed for, and it went for 801. 800. I'm like, now come on. If you buy that, is that ever going to hit the rental market as a rental ever again? The way that the prices are actually jumping and what people are purchasing, they want to purchase it for themselves, and it'll never hit the. So what happens to these big families who don't have that deposit or don't have the type of credit? Where is that actually going to go? And that's where we're kind of like, the government's making a huge mess, and they have to sit back, and they won't listen to the mom and pop operations. They won't listen to the type of people who are here to help them and guide them. They're trying to listen to the big guys or the developers, thinking that's the only way for them to create housing is just for the big guys.
Yeah, well, you know, there is an argument to be made about the large scale rental product hitting the market. You know, there's a significant demand for more units. Like, we could be building purpose-built rentals for the next 20 years and still not catch up to the demand. But like you said before, there is a tremendous amount of product out there in the hands of mom and pop landlord. You know, and especially now with you know, granny flats, secondary suites. You know, the intensification aspect, that's going to create more units, more affordable units out there. You know, having the granny flat in the backyard now, that's a great option. If somebody's single, you know, that's a great place to live. It's going to be less expensive than renting a house or a base, or depending on how it's set up. But we just need more product like that. And how do we get that? We need to incentivize the investment in real estate. We need to give tax benefits to the people risking their money in the real estate market. And we need to support landlords who are actually providing that product, and not the other way around, because that's going to disincentivize those landlords to actually take those actions.
Oh, everyone keeps saying it's not a job. Go get a real job. I'm like, are you kidding me? I hooked up so many buckets of water when there was a flood. We're doing cutting of the grass. We're doing the shoveling of the snow. You look at what you pay for rent. It's not just about what's inside the unit of having the rent factor. It's your fridge, it's your stove, it's your dishwashers, whatever the case may be. It's the service of being able to call your landlord 24/7 and be able to them to come there and fix it for you. Like that's the type of landlords we are. And you have to pay for that type of service. I know for me, it's like, you should see my basement. I need to get my basement fixed up. But you know what? Our rental unit come first. And that's where my husband just came back from, is our rental unit. So it comes down where people, landlords are people too. And I want to know why the government cannot sit here, meet with mom and pop landlords and bring in the ministries, the Ministry of Housing, his assistant Parham Gill, Steve Clark. You got to have Doug Ford. You have to have Doug Downey, the Attorney General, and you have to have, I believe his name is skipping, it's with a D too. He's the Ministry of Social Services. This is where we need to bring all levels of government together with these different type of ministries and hash down what needs to happen, because it breaks my heart to see people who are on the street. And it makes me feel sad when we have people who are dealing with mental health or addiction, is that, you know, they're being ignored as well. And that's where these programs come into play, where they're trying to work private landlords into helping. But because the risk is so great with the Residential Tenancy Act and the Landlord and Tenant Board towards landlords, how do you expect landlords to take that type of risk? I think they probably rather take a risk playing with the stock market than knowing that their tenant can sue them or take them to the Human Rights Tribunal or whatnot to get everything that they can from them. So I'm just at my wit's end trying to deal with politicians who are just doing this to gain political power for their next election. And you can see how they're gearing up now. Housing is gearing up to be their number one topic for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? It's going to remain an issue for the foreseeable future. For the next 50 years, housing is going to be a huge issue in the GTA.
So listen, landlords, for right now, I'm still going to go ahead. I'm still fighting every single politician that I could possibly get my hands on, from city, regional, provincial, even get federal. I'm trying to let them see how these landlords think, what we think, how we think that the solutions that we're brainstorming together as a group. And I thank everyone for commenting in our group. I want to let you know, like from 2010, when I would sit there on the phone and call landlords on Kijiji and tell them, hey, I'm calling about your semi or your house. I'm not calling to rent it. I just want to let you know you got to get down to City Hall. We're having a protest. We need to get this started. And that's how Ontario Landlords Watch was formed, by the group of small landlords here in Cambridge, and grew outside of all of the areas that were dealing with just water billing issues at the time. Then we started getting into people who were dealing with RTA and LTB issues. I'm like, okay, we got a lot of problems here. We got to keep going. And that's why I'm calling out all of our landlords out there to join the Landlord Credit Bureau community. We finally have something that you can report and call it a union, where you pay your union dues of a $1.99 for the year and 60 cents per lease. So you can have 5 people on your lease, but and you can still report all 5. You're just being charged 60 cents. This is where I feel that we all need to stay connected. I know some small landlords are like, hey, why should I pay to report our good tenants? They're going to leave me if you keep building their credit for them. This is going to be more so of being able to help, you know, with our bad tenants who are getting away with it, and the power behind the emails that get sent to these tenants when you make an account for them and they get registered, they get notified of this. And that's the power that I see behind it. But being able to have access to their tenancy searches, getting their credit checks that are going to be coming around the corner there with Equifax, and there's going to be, it's just growing with the type of benefits that LCB is doing. And that's why I talk so highly about them, because just like I called everyone from Kijiji, I'm going to call everyone talking to about LCB. This, if we want to be able to try to mitigate the risk that we're putting ourselves in because of the way that the government and the RT and the LTB is, please take a look, landlordcreditbureau.ca. If you have any questions, I've researched them, I talked to them, I have Rita on speed dial. So if you ever need anybody from there, let me know. But I want Seth to tell us about what's happening in 2022.
Ooh, Kayla's all excited.
I'm excited. This is like one of the biggest ones. The first one, I'll talk about that one later, but I was so excited when I was on like I couldn't even tell anybody. He's like, I can't say anything yet, Kayla. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I'm a mouthpiece. Of course I'm gonna try to say something. You better come out and tell the group before I do.
Okay, so we've got an event May 14th and 15th, 2022. So a little bit over a year away. Coronavirus messed this up. So it's called the Multifamily Conference, and this event is strictly about multifamily real estate. So if you're out there, if you're currently in the multifamily space, or if you're interested in getting into the multifamily space, this is the event you want to get to. It's going to be the multifamily event of the year. We've got an all-star team of speakers lined up. Do you want to announce who the keynote speaker is?
Oh my God, it's Kevin O'Leary, guys. I want to touch his head. I want to touch his head. I don't know why. Every time I see the man, and I heard he's short, so it's like I can't wear heels. Can't wear heels.
Well, we'll make sure you look good when you meet him.
Oh, okay. And can you say what he wants in his dressing room?
Oh, I prefer not. Well, yeah, he likes gummy candy. So
okay, so everyone coming. Bring gummy candies. Bring gummy candies. Let him feel the love. Because a lot of people think like they don't like him and he's rough, but you know what? He's real. I like the way that he tells people like it is, and he's sorry that he hurts your feelings, but like I think he could be nice too. So we'll find out.
Yeah, and you know, raising investor money is a big part of playing in the multifamily real estate space. And I couldn't think of a better person to talk about raising capital and how to present that to potential investors, because using other people's money is the most efficient and best way to build your own real estate portfolio. And you have to be able to raise capital. So Kevin's going to be an amazing speaker with that. We've got other powerhouse guys like Joel Block about how to structure your deals, how to structure it the right way. And if you want to get into the larger properties, how to syndicate, how to set up your own fund. We've got Richard Wilson from the Family Office Club talking about raising capital. This guy's the king of raising capital. We've got Pierre Paul Turgeon, a multifamily expert on underwriting. He used to work for CMHC. So if you want to learn about how to run the numbers on analyzing multifamily properties and how a lender looks at you with multifamily, he's the guy to talk to. We've got so many speakers. I'm very, very excited. So again, it's May 14th and 15th, 2022. But I do have something special for.
Wait, where is it going to be? What location?
Oh yeah, it's in Toronto.
Woo! Party in Toronto.
It's in Toronto. So, what was that?
Partying after? Well,
we do have an after party.
Oh,
and the after party is going to be amazing. So, if somebody buys a VIP or platinum ticket, you get access to the after party. And this past week, I've just been going over the setup for the after party, looking at food, looking at some drinks. It's going to be an amazing time. I'm so excited.
The best is that it's my anniversary, so my husband has no reason. I'm like, come on, let's go. I planned it.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. And, you know, like real estate, it's a people business. And, you know, it's a team sport. And the more investors you can add into your database, into your network, the stronger your real estate business is going to be. So we have investors coming in from all over North America, from the United States, from all over Canada. So it's going to be the multifamily place to be next year. Super pumped up. So what we're doing is, just because I love you and you're doing such a great job with Ontario Landlord's Watch, we've set up a special discount for OLW members. So right now, we've got our early bird pricing, but OLW members are going to get an extra 10% off their early bird ticket. So this is going to be the lowest price you're ever going to see for this conference. We've got early bird plus 10% off. So what you have to do, I think the website shows up under my video right now, I think, right?
Multifamilyconference.ca.
Yeah. So if you go to multifamilyconference.ca, you can choose your seat. If you type in the promo code OLW, It's just OLW. It will automatically take off 10%, plus the additional early bird pricing, which you're already saving, depending on the ticket, like $300. So that's a huge deal. And we just want to support you and everything you're doing with Landlord's Watch. So that's a special thing. But you have to use the discount by next Friday at midnight. So you've got a week and 1 day to do it.
And this is the problem. We got to get it stretched out now to the members. So we got to make sure everyone knows about it to get this discount. Is it ever going to come back, or it's probably not? So it's more.
No, like this is the cheapest ticket.
Everyone will sit there and you wait till the last minute. I know I'm guilty for that. I wait until I make sure that nothing else planned happened. But when you're planning an event the size that you're planning, you need to know who's on your guest list. And it's a way for everyone to jump on board, have something to look forward to. Now, let's say everyone's probably thinking, okay, COVID, what happens if COVID's still around? What's going to happen, Seth?
Well, we've got more plans and backup plans. So we are very confident we'll be putting on a first-class in-person event. We are over a year away, and we've been talking with some leading experts in the space, and we're feeling very confident that we'll be able to put on an amazing event for everybody in person. The venue we have is huge, and that gives us many different options. Right now, we're going for a traditional setup, so normal seating for everybody. But in the event that the government decides to have restrictions in 14 months, we are able to accommodate that. And we have several different layouts we can run with. So like I said, we are very confident we'll be putting on a first-class event in person. We've got so many different options.
I've been waiting for this. I need to get out.
Yeah, like everybody I talk to is like, I can't wait to actually go to a real event again. We've got, like, with the VIP ticket, you can meet Kevin O'Leary. You get valet parking. I think the most important thing with the VIP ticket is you get these networking breakfasts and lunches. Where, like I said before, real estate's a contact sport. It's a team sport. So you're actually going to be in the spot with other key people in the real estate space and be able to meet them. And every event I speak at, I always say there's at least one deal in the room. So it's up to you to find that deal, whether it's a partnership on a deal, maybe an investor's looking for capital and you're able to supply that. There's always at least one deal in the room when you're at a real estate event. So I'm really excited to put it on. All the information is at multifamilyconference.ca. But like I said, the promo code OLW, that's for 10% off. It expires next Friday at midnight. So definitely take advantage. Kayla, have you bought your ticket yet?
Well, I just got it now. I'm like, I'm waiting for the discount code, buddy. I'm all about the discounts.
Oh yeah, and like I said, like this is the lowest price you'll get for the conference. Prices will only go up. So what we'll do is tomorrow I'll add a post in the group with that code for everybody, so you can check.
Keep reminding them. I'm busy trying to fight our elected officials right now, so I can't respond back to everyone. I try to see everyone's comments within the group. I try to like it whenever I can. It's great that everyone's helping each other out with the day-to-day operations and sharing LCB with everybody. Please make sure that you do. And can they share, if they have friends, can they still use the OLW code as well? For sure, yeah. So spread the word, bring a friend. But everything that you do, it's all about spreading the word, right? And Ontario Landlord's Watch is going to have a booth at the conference. We're really excited to have you guys and be talking about the amazing stuff you're doing. So I think the more landlords we can bring to the event, the better it is for everybody. So yeah, definitely spread the word, bring a friend or two or three. Oh, it's great the way that when people get into real estate, they don't even know what they're doing right away. They just know I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to rent it. But when you start getting into the whole management of it and knowing the RTA and the LTB and your contractors and how to scale that once you get into it, you need a network. And that's where I've been so lucky to be a part of many different real estate investment groups, different landlord association groups, to speak at their event and get to know their members. If everyone knows from our members that, we're over 50 5,600 members now in the group, and they just didn't come to us through Facebook. I literally traveled to meet some of the people that are in our group to bring them to this community, and that's why I'm very protective with it, making sure that everyone understands, you know, our mission is to change the way that the RTA and the LTV is, so that we can create a better housing system for both good landlords and good tenants, and of course us as a taxpayer, because I'm telling you guys, like what we just said earlier tonight, $3,000 a month of taxpayers' money is being used right now to house people who are in homeless situations. $3,000 a month. Now we have the solutions to be able to create a better housing system that's not going to cost taxpayers this much money. And this is only for including the shelters. This is not including the police service. This is not including hospitals because of our homeless situation. And we talk about a housing crisis. It was a housing crisis before COVID. COVID now has caused it to be a housing chaos. And now with the eviction bans and everyone pulling out, now we got housing havoc. So we have to still do our part on advocating, but understand that real estate is still a very, very good thing for you and your family. And we want to do whatever we can to help people learn about it and grow within it, especially for your experience and me being in it for 18 years and starting very young. I think we have a lot to offer people from being a part of that network. And Seth, I can't thank you enough for joining the conversation with me tonight and being able to give this discount for our members to join. And I can't wait to see all of our members there and the after party.
It's going to be sweet. You have no idea.
It's going to be exciting. So we'll make sure that we try to do another live to inform everyone. We got to get out. We got to look forward to something, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Is finally I met with Tony Miller up in Ottawa. Arlene Dickinson. Arlene Dickinson. I'm like, what's her last name? I was remember the book in my head. That's what it was. And that was awesome, you know. And my daughter took my book, of course, and got it signed to her. But hopefully, I can get something signed from Kevin this time.
Well, actually, if all of our VIP tickets are getting a very special personalized gift from Mr. Wonderful himself. So.
Oh damn. Okay, come on, guys. You got to help me out. You got to come up, show this ticket. I need to get on the VIP list, and our members, you got to come with me so that we can get me meeting Kevin.
Yeah, there's only 200 VIP seats available, and a bunch are sold already. So if you're interested in the VIP stuff, which I think is totally worthwhile.
I bet you Mr. Hamilton has his, doesn't he?
Mr. Hamilton does, I think.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him. But
yeah, you shouldn't have done that first. Tell us first.
Yeah, but I think, like, you know, real estate, like I said, it's all about who you know, and that VIP ticket, I think it's so worth it because it just puts you in the right spot to connect with everybody. Plus, you get to meet Kevin, which is pretty cool.
It is. It's going to be great. I think everyone should look forward to this. Get your ticket there at multifamilyconference.ca. And if you have any questions and you want to talk to Seth, let me know. I'll connect you guys so that you have a deep understanding, just in case COVID is still around, you know, what happens to your money. Because I know a lot of people are a little concerned about that. But I'm so excited to know that we're coming out of this. We got to get back to normal. We're doing a lot more damage with this whole lockdown process than just the COVID virus in itself. So I really hope our elected officials are hearing that tonight as well. So we'll keep going. And I know we have many elected officials who may watch this video. So if you do, please reach out to me at olwlandlords@gmail.com. I will be happy to meet with you, and as well as our Ontario Landlords Watch Committee, because there is a lot of people with a lot of experience ready to help the government in order to help our tenants. I want to thank everyone for watching tonight. Seth, again, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the conference happening in May in 2022. And if everyone can do me a favor, you know, leave a comment, share Ontario Landlords Watch with all your friends, and make sure that you're signing up with Landlord Credit Bureau. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Happy renting.